everybody, welcome to another Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am very excited, and tonight I even gave you a little bit of a hint. No, I gave you more than a hint. I actually told you what I was going to feature tonight, which I usually give little hints. But tonight I decided to come right out and tell you. Anyway, I am featuring Beautiful World. And Beautiful World is supposed to be a masculine set. It is part of the World of Good suite in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. And yes, I realize that most people have already started moving into the holiday catalog, but I started this last week, and I have had so much fun making these cards that are kind of out of the box, off the charts, however you want to describe it, to kind of coincide with the theme of the evening. So Beautiful World is a really fun set. And if you were looking at this, hi guys, I'm so glad to see you, Stephanie and Kathy and Ann. So glad you're here. I'm going to have to get right to it because I am really excited about these cards. But anyway, Beautiful World is a stamp set which is in the masculine section. And I wanted to prove to you that it has other ideas besides masculine ideas. So the first card I'm going to actually show you right off the bat is a pink card. Because who said that this card has to be masculine and dark and green and blue and whatever, even though most of my cards are. But I think that you haven't seen cards like this out there. I honestly didn't go on Pinterest to find them. I did them myself, so I'm really excited about it. So Beautiful World has a bunch of stamps, mostly world stamps, has a bunch of great sentiments, which I didn't use very much of, but I did use a little bit. It has really, really nice dies, world, both Eastern and Western Hemisphere. I can't remember which one's which, but I'm sure you guys can. And then I'm going to show you other ways that I've used these dies too. So I'm not going to glare you, because I know the light is really shining on it, but maybe I'll move this out a little bit. There we go. Now it's not so direct. Okay, so let's get right to this. Besides that, we use the World of Good designer paper. So I've got a little sampler here of all 12 patterns. It's 6 double-sided sheets, and these are the colors that coincide. And one of the items or products that is part of this suite is the brass sheets, which I am really liking, and I didn't think I was going to. I'm not sure why I didn't think I was going to, but for me, brass is like the champagne now. You know, I'm not really a gold girl, I'm not really a silver girl, but the champagne I love, and now the brass I love. It's kind of an off color, kind of in between the two of them, and I think that's why I like it a lot. But anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's shoot this camera down and show you some of these cards. Like I said, I'm going to start with my least favorite, and then I'm going to show you how I made it too, because I'm actually going to, the pink one, I'm going to show you a blue theme version as well. So let me flip you. Here we go. Sorry guys, here we go. Don't get dizzy. Okay, so there we go. Am I there? Let me go down even a little bit more. There's my August host code. Here's my priority box because I'm trying to get rid of the, on the table, some people have said that they hear a little hollow echoing sound. I don't know what it is, but I'm trying. So let's just get to these cards. This is my first card, and something just a little bit different. This is the texture paper, and I can't remember the name of the texture paper. That doesn't really matter right now, but I used the pink one and a square vellum doily, and I used some of this petal pink. If there was a blushing bride, I think that might have matched this color a little bit better, but because there isn't a blushing bride that really matches this pink, we went with this. So I just did this, and then I'll show you how I made this world. It was really, actually, I loved it. So I stamped petal pink off. I took the stamp, and let me show you, well, I'm going to show you in a minute. I shouldn't have started this because I'm going to show you the blue. But anyway, I stamped one of the world stamps off, and then I stamped it on there, and then I had no problem at all lining up the sentiment over top of that. It fit perfectly, and I could see exactly where I wanted to put it. and then I cut it out with one of the circle dies, the plain circle dies. It was the third smallest, in case you wanted to know. So that's the first card, but let me keep going because that's not my favorite by any means. This is one of my favorites. I just love this. So this is one of the designer papers. It's the map. I actually stamped it a little bit more with crumb cake. I stamped it, I inked up the stamp with crumb cake. I don't know if you can see that, but I stamped off and then I did it. I just wanted it to be subtle. And then what I did was I ripped around the edges. Yes, I ripped. Anybody that knows me knows that things like this distressing is distressing to me. But anyway, I want to show you what I did. If you're ripping, you just make sure, this is kind of the leftover, but you kind of make sure that the side that you want to be up is facing up. And that leaves a nice ripped edge at the top. Actually, I suppose it could be either way because you can see that on the blue too, there's a little bit of an edge. But you see how it has the raw edge because I ripped it? Then I took soft suede and I sponged around all the edges. And to me, this looked like a treasure map. So I had cut out with the brass this globe holder. And then I had one piece left right here, which I ripped again, and I stamped Adventure Awaits there. And it kind of looked distressed because of the way I sponged it and ripped it and everything. This, in case you're wondering, is actually, I kind of wanted it to bend a little bit, but this is from Garage Gears. Is it Garage Gears? It's from the Garage stamp set and dies. I stamped it in Versamark and then embossed it with clear embossing powder. And then I cut this out with the die. So to me it looked like a treasure chest. And then all I did was I took my black marker and just made a little X and a little, almost like a where footsteps would go. But I really love this card. And don't ask me how I came up with it. It just happened. But I really, really, really love this one. So that's my second card. This card is a little different. I wanted to combine the dies and some other stamp sets. And this may or may not be any of your favorites, but this sentiment is from Itty Bitty Birthday. I cut it out. I stamped in navy ink. No, I Misty Moonlight ink, and then I cut it out with one of the rectangle dies. This right here, to me, looked like the moon. And you know what it is? I have to show you what it is. If I can find the stamp set, here it is. When I cut this out, this was remaining. So that was the remaining part of my thing. And I think what is supposed to happen is the gold is probably supposed to lay over, but I put it over top. Oh well. Anyway, so that little brass piece was left over. I have to leave this out because you have to look at other things here too. I used the So Many Stars die and I cut out a couple of dies. This swirl is part of this stamp set. There's the swirl, so I cut that out in the brass. I also cut it out in navy. And you'll see my little edge at the bottom, the water here. This is actually this. I had a strip of Misty Moonlight, so I cut that out, and you can see the lines through there. And not very imaginative, but I had to use my imagination somehow to come up with this. Then what I did was, if you remember the Lots of Lace dies, one of them has the edge. I don't know what to call it. That's what it is. And that's what I used to cut out. And it almost looked like waves to me. So that's how I used that. And then I said, oh, you know, we've got the copper stars yet. They're still in our catalog. So I put a couple of copper stars there too. So it's all a little bit different. I think this might have been done with gold. That might have been done with the brass. I don't know. They're all a little bit different, but I just love this blue, the Misty Moonlight. So that's that card. So that's card number 3. And yes, it is masculine, but it is different from anything you've ever seen, I can imagine. Now we're coming to my favorite. You guys have to see this one. And this one I know you haven't seen anywhere because, again, don't ask me how I came up with it, but this is a Christmas card. And this is, I just love this card. I just love this card. This is the vanilla with gold edge ribbon, and I used my old olive, it might have been the light mossy meadow actually, marker to color the ribbon, and then I tied it. So that's all that is. This is one of the papers, the green paper that has the nautical sign on it. So that's that. Then I overlaid it with the brass. I cut out Joy. Now you're going to see a better way of me cutting this out than I did, but I cut out Joy with the alphabet that's current in the annual catalog. And from the pine boughs set, I cut out the pine boughs at a mossy meadow. And I just bumped it up a little bit. And so Joy to the World. And I believe this was Itty Bitty Christmas, but I think I used my marker just to color to the world instead of Joy to the World because I wanted to make sure that I could use those letters. So anyway, what do you think? Isn't that great? So that's probably my favorite card, which is why I saved it for last. But I've got another project to show you. I made a luggage tag. So I'm sorry, there's going to be a little bit of a glare. And I had cut this out of copper, and I don't know if copper is current or not, but it was laying on my table, so I said I'm going to use it. It goes really nice with the cinnamon cider. So adventure awaits. I wish I'd done it a little bit lower, but I stamped that in early espresso. And then I cut another, so this is one piece of the designer paper. And then there's another piece which has the brass, and then I just cut out, remember the Joy here that I cut out? I cut out Jeannie. And here's my luggage tag. So I used a couple of my favorite ribbons to accent this. You've got your lace, the vanilla lace, the cinnamon cider, and the early espresso ribbon, which I'm down to the last 6 inches of because I ended up using it for a swap. I really, really love this. But anyway, I punched through all layers with the crocodile, which I still have, which I wish they'd bring back, but of course we don't have eyelets anymore, so I can see that it would be almost unnecessary. But anyway, I use it all the time. So I stamped through 2 layers, and this is a top-loading baseball card. If anybody wanted to make your own luggage tag, that's what I did. So I have to take the adhesive remover and get rid of some glue that was on there. But anyway, so that's my luggage tag. So those are the cards that I've made. Now I told you I was going to make this one in blue. So just like this texture paper has a pink, it also has a blue. So let me see. Yeah, I've got it pretty much ready to go, but I'm going to show you how I did it. So I've got here my scrap that I've already used, and you're going to have to use your imagination that I cut this out, because I did cut it out already. Okay, so I've got my world stamp here. I'll ink it up. It doesn't take much. This one I decided you have to take off 3 times. And actually, I think the 3rd time was the time that I inked up. So let's do that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to stand up. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. With this one, because I wanted it to make sure that it stood out, I'm going to use my embossing buddy. Just make sure there's not going to be any ink that sticks to that. And then I've got my stamp. Oh, I would have my stamp if I had another block here. So let me clean this stamp. And I can put it away and I can reuse this block. Okay, so you're going to see how easy this is. So what I did was I ink it up in the navy, and it's really, really easy to see where to center this. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but I know exactly where I'm going. So I'm going to go down like that. And there we go. Voila. Now what I want to do, and I'm going to do this again because I'll make another card, because I'll send it to somebody for sharing. And yes, I still have the whale cards ready to go to you guys, but I haven't sent them out to those that shared the whale video for me. I have some clear embossing powder. And I'm just going to make sure that's on top and set this aside right there. These are my orange leaf frozen yogurt spoons, and I saved them because I just love them. Okay, so I've got that. So pretend I cut it out with my circle die. Part of the stamp set is this circle. So I cut out a Night of Navy circle already. It's slightly bigger than this circle that I used when, like I told you, it was cut out with the third smallest plain circle die. So there's scallops in that set as well, but this was the plain one. And what I'm going to do is attach this right on there. I have made this card a tiny bit different because this is a navy card, and I want to make sure. I kind of blew it because I really don't want this to be 5.5 by 8.5. I really want it to be 5.5 by 4.25. So pretend this is just one layer right here. Okay, so we've got this. Then I've got this 4 by 5.25 inch layer of basic black. And I'm just going to show you a trick that I use sometimes so that I don't have to put white on the inside as well. I cut this piece of cardstock. This is the thick Whisper White. I cut it 3 3/4 inches by 10 inches, and I scored it at 5 inches. So this is going to be a layer of 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And I already stamped this. I meant to stamp it online, but I stamped it, and I don't think I brought the Here's a Card stamp set with me here. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to attach this here in a second, but this is the blue that I was talking about. Now remember the blue? So we've got our layer 4 1/4 by 5.5, 4 by 5 1/4, and then this one is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, but double. So 3 3/4 inches by 10 inches and scored in half. Before I attach that, I want to attach my banner. Now, when I did this card originally, this was a long card, a long banner. But here I wanted to stamp a little bit of something at the bottom. I made you a card because you're worth it. Now, remember what this said in here. It says, you make the world a better place. So I cut this a little bit smaller. Instead of being, I think I had it originally 4 3/4 inches. I probably cut it at 4 inches. And then I used my triple banner punch, which I won't be without. I love that. I know you can make it a nice fork evenly, but I can't, so I'm not going to. So, okay, I'm going to attach this. So this is the texture paper. Remember I told you about that. I'm going to attach this right here. And I'm going to make sure I've got enough room because I am going to put that close to the top. So not quite as far over as this one because I have to have room for the sentiment here too. So, and then I'm not sure if I want to use the doily or not. I mean, I know it's a masculine card, but I don't think that this makes it any less masculine. I don't know. Maybe it does. I think it gives it a little bit of texture. I think I am going to use it. So if I was smart, I'd have my silicone mat and I would be dabbing it with my glue sponge, but I'm not smart tonight. Okay, so then I wanted to do something I wanted to do something just like I did with the pink card, but I don't have any blue ribbon that's great. What I decided to do is this denim ribbon. I figured it would make it look just a little bit less, just a little bit more masculine. And let me see which side I like better. I think I like it better this way. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, and I've got more than enough. I don't know why I thought I needed so much, but anyway. What I'm going to do, because you're not going to see it anyway, I'm going to take some Stampin' tape. Normally I'd have this over my wrist, but because we only need one piece, I'll go like this. I can even take it off because that can help attach it to the black layer too. So we got that. And because there's some glue through my doily, this is actually going to stay in place. But I'm going to use this to kind of hold it in place too. I'll take a dimensional, and I've got a few here. I'm going to take a dimensional, and I'm going to put it really close to the edge because I want to really catch that ribbon there. We'll mount that on there. There we go. And I just have the base, and because I don't really have enough room for the big tall one, I'm just going to use the smaller one. Didn't need that much glue, but that's okay. Just put that there. I think I will put just a dab of glue under here. It'll eventually dry. There we go. I don't want to put too much because I don't want to make it obvious that it's glue. Then I'm going to take my glue dots, and I'm just going to find a glue dot and just attach a knot, and that goes at the top. So voila, this is my female version. So let's, because of my Stampin' tape. Oh my goodness, do as I say, not as I do. My goodness. Okay, well that didn't work very well, but you get the idea. Okay, let me put some glue on. And I'm going to attach that to the black layer. Can't believe I did that on camera, but I seem to do a lot on camera that I don't intend to do otherwise. And then, like I said, this is just 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to cut off this excess because this is the inside of my card. Right here. Here, let me attach it and you'll see what I'm talking about. I could have a second card inside, but I don't choose to. This is going to be my card. So isn't that cute? So, you got your female version, or less masculine, and your masculine version. Just like that. So that's that card. Then I made one more card, and that I want to show to you guys, and then I want to show you 3 swaps that I got as well. Let me just clean up my mess here. I'm not quite done with this card. I'm working on this card, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, because originally when I was doing this card, it was a Z-fold card. And boy, don't you love this? It's so dramatic with the black and gold, black and brass. I cut out, this is from the So Sentimental stamp set. It has the matching dies. I used one of those rectangles here, cut that out, cut this out of brass, cut the back out of brass, that circle that's part of the stamp set, the die set, and then there's the die for the overlying hemispheres. So I cut that out and attached it here, kind of popped it up. I made it a Z-fold card, and then let me show you what I want to do. And what I want to do is find my other thing. Okay, so I already cut this out with the die, and I'm going to use my brush set to get rid of any excess pieces because we don't need that. And you're going to understand my problem as soon as I attach this. I already attached it to adhesive sheets. So this is the second one. So we've got, let's do it right side up. No wonder I kept reading happy. I'm like, happy? That wasn't supposed to say that. Don't tell me I read it wrong. Hooray, you. So there's hooray. And I've got you. Got my die pieces all cut out. And this is going to come right out off of here. So this is really easy to use. So these are the new adhesive sheets, and I didn't put any note close to me. And I don't really have a nail, but I'm having no problem, minimal problems cutting that out. But I wanted to do something so I could say congratulations. So hooray you was the best I could come up with. Because there isn't a congratulations. Can you believe that? There probably used to be. But then I've got my piece of Very Vanilla, and I know that the designer paper said that the colors in it are Whisper White, and it doesn't mention Very Vanilla. But I'm telling you, Whisper White, if you look at this, that looks very stark to me. So we're going to do a Very Vanilla piece, and you can write your sentiment right in there. And I have to figure out what I'm going to do in here before I attach this, because I don't know if I really like that or not. I guess it's kind of open, so you know what? It is what it is. We're going to attach it. So this is a Z-fold card, and this one is a super simple card. I'm popping it up because then maybe it'll even stay open a little bit so you can actually see. So this is a perfect card for a graduation, I think, or for a retirement or a resignation. You guys know where I'm going with this. Anybody that deserves a special card for doing something that really takes a lot of guts, this card is for them. So, because life is an adventure, and anything that you do that is out of your comfort zone definitely needs to be celebrated. So I'm going to flip you back. Oh no, I'm not going to flip you back. I'm going to show you the last 3 cards, and I really like these cards too. These were swap cards that I got. So you'll have to tell me which is your favorite of these again. Let me show you again, just in case anybody tuned in late. So I did the pink card first, and then I showed you a blue version. So I really like that blue version too. Maybe more than the pink, but I do like it. Okay, so we've got that. And remember, so what I did there was I stamped it off 3 times. Here I only stamped it off twice for the petal pink. But I stamped it off 3 times, and then I embossed this. So I put clear embossing powder and heat embossed that. Okay, so we've got those cards. Then remember this card, my adventure card. It's almost like Treasure Island. So you got your little X marks the spot. Then we've got this card, and I used the remaining piece of the die that cuts out the holder for the globe to make this crescent moon. I used so many stars. I cut out one of the stars, and then I remembered that we had the copper stars. So this swirl is from this Beautiful World dies set. This is from these swirls and that little edge at the bottom, like I told you, the waves. This is from the Setting Sail stamp set. I really like that lighthouse. And there's probably something else that was more appropriate than a happy birthday, but then my favorite, the Christmas card. So that, and it might be, if you can find a joy that's all together, I know we had a retired joy that might be easier, but that alphabet is so easy to use, especially if you use the adhesive sheets. I just made this one, the Z-fold card, very stunning in its black and brass. Then we have our, like I said, the luggage tag copper. Like I said, I don't know if copper is still in the catalog, but that's what we used. Okay, so this was one of the cards that I got. This is another pink card. I don't know if you can see this. This, I believe, is Melon Mambo. Probably stamped with Melon Mambo. This I got as a swap, so it was cut out with the brass. And then we've got a white overlay instead. And this is embossed in gold. So isn't that pretty? It actually almost looks brass with that embossing powder. So as you can see, it can be done in pink as well as in blue or green or black or whatever color. Here's another beautiful card that I got as a swap. These buckles were part of that suite. You've got your cinnamon cider ribbon. I used this for 2 of my cards, if you remember. My Christmas card used this. It took me a while to find it. I was thinking we had the map, but I forgot that that retired with Celebration. So this is the Old World paper, and boy, is that really beautiful. And then they did that over top of this designer paper. Another, just like I used with my luggage tag there. So really pretty. Happy birthday. You mean the world to me. So that's a great masculine card. And then there's this card, which I really, really love. And I realized that I didn't use any gems, rhinestones, or anything on mine, but I really like that. So Adventure Awaits, and this is a really great standard size. I believe this is 3 by 4 with probably 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 matting behind it. That's a really nice size for a card to make it stand out. And then these are one of our new dies. Oh no, actually, you know what? This is the new banner punch that you can have it either a negative or a positive. That came out this year. It's only wide to 1 inch, so that's what that is. So those are all those cards. And so now I'm going to flip you back. There we go. I'm so glad you guys joined me today. Hope you're staying cool. Can't wait for next week. I think next week I might have to dive into the holiday catalog because, believe it or not, I'm running out of sweets in the new catalog, but we will see. Anyway, I really love you guys for joining me. Please share if you like it. Make sure you use the host code if you want to buy this set from me, because I know you won't be able to withstand it after you've seen all these beautiful samples. Only kidding. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next Tuesday. Have a wonderful night. Bye.